Well, hello, Richard. 2 days in a row. What's going on?
Look at this. I got lucky. How are you? What's the good word today, Avery?
Well, the good word is Talbot is extremely jealous when I talk to you. He always tries to distract me just as we're about to come on the air doing business.
He's one of those troublesome co-workers.
He is a
Talbot.
troubled young man.
Yes,
and I
indeed.
don't think young is an active way to describe him. Well, 2 days in a row that we've been speaking to with each other, 2 days in a row that the TSX and the Dow have just gone crazy. Another record breaker.
Yeah, this is actually the fifth record breaker in a row for the TSX, the sixth record breaker in a row for the Dow. So stocks, they continue to hit new all-time highs. We have the TSX, as you saw there, up a modest 19 points today, and the Dow picking up a handful of points as well. Banking stocks are in favor. A number of the big banks, TD, BMO, Scotia, Avery, they were reaching all-time highs today. A lot of it has to do with Trump, but the economic news about Canada and the U.S. has been good as well, and that's been helping stocks to climb higher.
Well, and speaking of Donald Trump, you know, his use of the word tweak had a lot of people concerned when he was talking about making changes to NAFTA. You had a chance to speak to the CEO of Ford Canada about whether or not it's an investment in Ontario and whether that's still safe. What did you hear?
Well, there's big questions about, you know, all three automakers and what their investments in Ontario are going to look like, because, of course, Trump got elected on this sort of Build America pledge. And, yeah, I did talk to Mark Bazell, the CEO of Ford Canada, got him on the phone, and I asked him, Avery, what he thinks about Trump's protectionist stance. Let's take a listen.
We're very bullish on manufacturing here in Canada from a Ford standpoint. Really good negotiations that wrapped up in November, and as part of that agreement with Unifor, Ford is planning to invest $700 million in our Canadian operations.
You know, NAFTA is going to be renegotiated. We know that. How much of a concern is that, and what sort of concessions or provisions would you look for in a renegotiated NAFTA from Ford's perspective?
Yeah, well, from our perspective, we think NAFTA has served us very well. So, you know, we're obviously big proponents of any trade agreement that's going to make a level, even playing field.
You know, Avery, he, you know, didn't want to commit either way, but basically he said the investment that Ford has made in Ontario is going ahead. They're going to be pumping the $700 million into their facilities here. But he said it's, you know, too early to speculate what might happen. Of course, Trump talking about trade tariffs. He's going to renegotiate NAFTA. So still, I think, very much a wait and see when it comes to the Ontario auto sector and Donald Trump.
All right. Also, really sort of wait and see is trying to figure out what the heck's happening with the housing market. It seems that every day I see a different headline about predicting what is happening. Some people are even talking about Toronto being in a looming bubble situation.
Yeah, in a bubble right now. So for the first time, we have a leading bank economist in Canada using that term. It's Doug Porter, the chief economist over at the Bank of Montreal. And he says, you know, although there are different definitions of a bubble, most would agree that it's when prices become dangerously detached from economic fundamentals. And he says that is what we have in Toronto right now. Of course, the average price of a Toronto house is up almost 23% on a year-over-year basis, above $705,000. Porter downplayed the suggestion, Avery, that it's a lack of supply. He said it's people looking to buy because of the rock-bottom mortgage rates, and he said that foreign buyers are playing a big role as well. So, yeah, we're hearing that bubble term for the first time. That's concerning.
It is concerning, but it's also because of what's happening with the housing market. It's having an impact, obviously, on the rental market. Trying to find a place to rent in this city is unbelievable. The costs are really high. The
costs have gone up dramatically, and we have a comparison about how much they've gone up just from September. So we look at a one-bedroom. The average in Toronto for a one-bedroom back in September, a little over $1,300. Now this month, above $1,600, an almost 24% increase. Two-bedroom, a little over $1,600 in September, above $2,000 today. Wow. That is a record, Avery. Low availability driving the demand. Toronto's vacancy rate at a very low 1.3%. It's expensive whether you want to buy or rent.
Yeah, cost of living in the city of Toronto sure isn't good.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much, Richard. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, Avery.